That's my hanky, service dog. They put down without my consent. That's my Colonel Spazzy. That's my Dr. B and Lucky. That's Sergeant Statenko. That is my little champy. That is Captain Black, $5,000 chicken. That's me and Super Whitey. That's me and Champ having tea in the morning. And that's Hermes and Trismegistus. Pop stole them from me. And the Popos. Give them back. Tell Monica to give them back. That's my Dr. Baker, a service dog twice prescribed from Taiwan. Those are my babies. Therapy mini chickens, and that's Lucy Goosey. And look at this. They stole my therapy mini chickens. Please help me get them all back. Send monica.dangler@pima.gov an email. Say, what the hell are you doing, Clarissa? Fabricated evidence and got caught perjuring yourself. Return all these poor creatures. Look, that little guy was supposed to be a present for Jack Smith. Stupidly didn't put away the worst criminal in human society. I'm on a campaign to get my service dog, Dr. Baker, back. Please help. Anything but him. By the way, this is my music, TikTok, so quit censoring me. So moving quickly here, this is proof right here. This is GPS, 8:37 a.m., in the morning, when they falsely reported around noon. This is signed by Clarissa Leyva-Conyes. I'm calling for bench warrants to be issued from Judge Steele. So yeah, this is a false report that needs to be investigated, and this is the detective in the case, number 7977. This is taken on my private property, and this is him turning off, or is it on, his body camera. He only had a little over an hour's worth of body cam footage. It was heavily redacted, so I'm asking the judge for a refund on that. Yeah, so they falsely arrested me, they assaulted me, they did not provide a search warrant, and to even my my Desert Storm veteran witness who took these videos. These are stills from video. This is his statements. He has a criminal investigation background, and he said that we were arrested without any due process. Guilty until proven innocent. Fourth Amendment violated here. Beth Cummings and Zoe Skinner have still gotten away with swatting me, and she told authorities numerous times. They told her they couldn't take the report because she's in Phoenix. Here's the the raid. It was an unlawful raid that took part on my property, and here is a letter of support. They were perfectly healthy. And here my letter, my recommender is saying that why didn't they take all the animals if they were concerned about their welfare? Because they were perfectly healthy. Here's more smoking gun evidence that they actually mistreated my animals in their custody. This is my lace neck Polish chicken, David Bowie, in my window, like a week before the raid. And this is their staged cruelty. It's called staged neglect. It is dated 2 weeks later. This is not taken at my home, and they purposely made God knows what they did to him. So we need to rescue these animals. We need to rescue these poor babies. This is, they said that there wasn't, Clarissa said that she and Teddy signed off on this report. So they are directly responsible. She claimed sanitation, water, food, and veterinary care. It's BS, total BS. They were living in the free semi-range. She also said they approximately all had parasites and emaciated. Another BS. Here's a random necropsy taken that was done by the University of Arizona. It's thin because it was a young bird, but not emaciated. It was perfectly healthy. It had one worm or something in its belt, which is totally normal. So this is a false reporting, which is a crime. 2907.01. I'm asking the judge for stripping them of their qualified immunity so I can sue them for malicious prosecution and animal cruelty to upwards almost 200 poor, perfectly healthy animals, and I have, like I mentioned, a mountain of evidence about the perfect health of my babies. It was a prize-winning flock worth about $200,000 in livestock that they stole from me. Then when my Desert Storm veteran witness told them that they didn't have any evidence of a crime to lock me up or take away my animals, they locked him up and took away his emotional support animal too. This is my Dr. Baker. Look how grainy it is. Look how grainy that photo is. Compared to their picture, this is internal pack picture. Look how he's perfect, beautiful health. They said he was a Doberman Pinscher. He ain't no Doberman Pinscher, idiots. Hi there. Here I am at the Pima County Consolidated Justice Court. I was actually kidnapped and involuntarily committed down there. There's like footage all over the internet about it. So they didn't allow me to submit that huge packet of evidence, but I did get in a bunch of motions. Here's a copy of it. Notice of pro se representation and objection to court-appointed counsel. I'm representing myself pro se. You notify the court. You have to notify that. And you mean pro se means yourself. And I request the court to respect my right to self-representation guaranteed by 6th and 14th Amendments, and filing formal complaints against previous public pretenders, in particular Janet Altshuler, with the Arizona State Bar for their refusal to file motions at my request and for misconduct, including initiating Rule 11 competency proceedings in bad faith. There's a recording of her saying that, basically using it as a tool to dismiss the charges. But that's ridiculous. Anyway, so without regard to previous Title 36 commitments, which was instigated by prosecutors on malicious and baseless grounds. So I'm submitting a formal evidentiary package to the court, and my dates on the, I learned that there has been a court date on the 25th. I had to like come here and get them to print it off, and also I'm asking the court for an emergency injunctive order for Monica Dangler, Director PAC, to immediately return my ADA protected service dog, Dr. Baker, as his continued seizure is causing irreparable harm to my health and well-being. So also I'm providing sworn affidavits from numerous sworn and eyewitnesses attesting to the excellent care and condition of my animals, including my service dog, Dr. Baker, including PAC's own internal picture, perfect health, evidence of malicious prosecution and misconduct by Pima County law enforcement and prosecutors, including the DA's office, documentation from medical professionals supporting the immediate return of my service dog. Okay, that's one. I got in like 4 or something. There's a motion to dismiss charges of animal with prejudice, which means like they can't take it up again and continue harassing me. Defendant respectfully requests the court dismiss all charges of animal neglect and abuse brought against me. They lack merit, they're unsupported by evidence, and demonstrate malicious prosecution, gross violations of constitutional rights, and procedural errors. Grounds for dismissal: lack of probable cause for search and seizure. The search warrant signed by Judge Howard Fell lacked probable cause or any evidence of a crime, as it was based on hearsay from an individual in Phoenix with no direct knowledge of the condition of my animals. 2. The warrant contained factual inaccuracies, including the false claim of a pig on the property. Well, I got a bunch of pigs on the property. Ha ha ha. I got about 60 of them actually, who, they didn't want to record. They didn't record anything of interest. I mean, like the real interest, like my perfectly healthy animals being captured and traumatized what they did is animal cruelty. This is the worst case of animal cruelty, institutional animal cruelty in U.S. history. So anyway, the warrant violated my Fourth Amendment rights as it was improperly sealed and rubber stamped without sufficient evidence of a crime. Suppression of exculpatory evidence means that would make you innocent. Like they turned off their body cams when they were looking at capturing my animals because they were perfectly healthy. 1. Prosecutors suppress evidence of my animals' perfect health and the clean, humane conditions under my care as corroborated by sworn witness statements and veterinary records. See all my letters of support. 2. Body camera footage of the raid is suspiciously incomplete. Only 40 hours of footage for a 12-hour operation involving 60 officers. No footage of any animals captured, the conditions they were in. 4, 6, 14th Amendment violations and animal cruelty. Their animal cruelty. 3. Officers failed to document the raid adequately as evidenced by their refusal to photograph the animal's condition. Staged photos dated 2 weeks after the raid. False statements in reports and testimony. The prosecution's claim that my dog Hank was a German Shepherd is false. He is an American Bulldog. PAC also said that Dr. Baker was a Doberman Pinscher. He ain't no Doberman Pinscher, duh. Inconsistent police reports. Officer Clarissa from PAC falsely testified regarding the timeline of events surrounding the arrest and search. 3. Officers involved have a documented history of misconduct, including threats, coercion, and false statements. Malicious prosecution. The defendant was maliciously targeted for an involuntary psych evaluation, Title 36, October 30th, 2023, by the same officers on my property during August 30 raid, and stemmed from retaliation for my complaints to Internal Affairs regarding the excessive use of force by Pima County officers. 2. The evidence suggests deliberate attempts to fabricate charges, including the unnecessary seizure and mistreatment of my animals, violations of Arizona statutes and federal rights. Officers violated ARS 132910, that's animal cruelty, in interfering with and seizing my service dog, causing me and him, should put in there, significant emotional and psychological harm. 2. The seizure of my I Am Samani chickens, which are worth $5,000 each, caused substantial financial loss. 3. 2 of my hens were euthanized without my permission, violating ARS 132910 and demonstrating further cruelty and negligence by PAC, Pima Animal Cruelty Center. Clear evidence of care and professional expertise. 1. I have a perfect criminal record and extensive experience as an animal caretaker, supported by numerous letters of support, sworn testimony, 1023, 1030, and witness affidavits. 2. My animals were my family and my livelihood, as evidenced by my work developing and marketing specialty therapy service chickens. How fucking cute is that? Each worth $1,000 apiece. 3. My professional credentials from Oxford, Berkeley, and Taipei Medical University further attest to my credibility and expertise. Hi there, I'm Trista for Congress, and also for Sheriff, and also for House Speaker, and also for Interim President. Actually, I am your Interim President right now. And President 2028, that is if we have elections. You might know me from my heavily censored and banned soundtrack for the Re-Evolution 432 Hertz healing frequency music that they don't want you to hear, so repost. I'm seeking justice for myself and for my animals, and today I'm going to read you some motions. I'm going to slam them with. Motion for dismissal with prejudice for speedy trial violation. It's been far more than 180 days. And this is a motion to reinstate and rule on all pre-Rule 11 motions. When they had me involuntarily committed the first time, they did it to derail the fact that I had filed motions to dismiss on constitutional grounds because it was an illegal raid. Motions to compel discovery because they heavily redacted all the body cam footage. Motion for return of my property, ADA certified service dog and other animals because they fabricated evidence to try to put me away, and when that failed, by the way, this is my service dog. This is Pac's picture of my service dog. Don't he look pretty dang healthy? But yet the grainy image that they give to prosecutors is trying to put me away. Look how healthy and beautifully happy they look. Here they are rushing me to say hi on the stairs. My special breed of therapy service chickens. How cute is that? That's little Jack Smith. And that is Cinnamon Bun. By the way, it's illegal to interfere with a service dog, and it's animal cruelty. These are my doctor's notes, and they're real doctor's notes. And here's my, I'm going to give them like a whole book. I'm going to make a book, and I'm going to put it on Amazon of all this evidence. Here's my University of Oxford master's degree. Here's my master's degree from Taipei Medical University. I was an honors A student. Here's transcript information. Alumni scholar, education abroad. I studied in France. Alumni scholar award twice. And here's affidavits from Desert Storm veteran witness. False reporting. Here's some one from the previous owner of some of the animals, and she brought me a lot of these birds because she knew they would be happy here. They're well cared for and happy. Both for food and water visibly available all the time. They're running around free. They're happy, relaxed, and self-confident dogs. And, Clarissa from PAC was talking about my stack hatching. They even stole my incubators. And stack hatching is a popular pastime. It's on Facebook. Here's another eyewitness account, somebody who was living on the property for a couple years, that I was taking excellent care of all my animals 24/7. I only left to get more food from the food pantry and share with my animals the fresh produce. Also, we got over $1,000 of animal food every month. And look, the birds were very tame and very well cared for. I've never witnessed them being abused or harmed. They always had fresh food and water, never out of water. Trista kept inside her room on her desk while nursing it back to health. Took care of them full time, 7 days a week. It's impossible that I have neglected my animals, yet they charged me with animal cruelty just to shut me down. And then they sent officers to shut up on the property. They acted in an aggressive manner, insisting on entering the property, and they threatened to arrest me. They continued acting aggressive, threatening to arrest Trista. He was there. Here's a letter of support from someone who was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. And He says, I'm a dog whisperer. These animals are her children. She has never been accused or charged with any negative behavior towards any animal. Please show some respect. And this is a travesty of animals and their owners' rights in your community about to go down. That was like 2 years ago. Look at all this is the smoking gun evidence of all my animals. Are, you know, a representation of the, here's service chickens. There's Lucy, Goosey, and I had a little family of Chinese geese. Here's my Champy. This is my home chicken, little Champy. Totally tame. She used to drink tea with me. Look, she's drinking tea with me right here. And here I am, like, advertising for mini chickens and on the Facebook website and Facebook page. And I had 3 peacocks, and they took them too. And my Sarama chickie, and then my service dog, and my duck, Lucky and Sport, and my cat. All perfectly healthy. Here's Hanky before Beth and Zoe put him down unnecessarily, which is cruelty, bitches. They're still getting away with it. These are $5,000 chicken Ayam Samanis I was raising in pack, and the police stole them too. There's me and Super Whitey. Better times. So sad. My service chickens, they were $1,000 a piece. I spent 24/7 devoted care with my babies. Here's smoking gun evidence of how they neglected them in their custody. Look, this is before. This is after. Before. After. 2 weeks in their custody. Look, 2 weeks later, 9/14. The raid was 8:30. 2 weeks later, they neglected them. Who is that cop sucker in the background? He needs to be identified and charged with conspiracy to commit animal cruelty. And PAC needs to go down. The head of PAC needs to go down. She needs to be removed for allowing this to happen. I contacted her. She just ignored me. This is my David Bowie before. This is after. Make a big painting of this and show this to the judge in court. Shame. Here's PAC's Clarissa Lebacañas. Falsifying reports, which is a crime, bitch. ARS 132907.01, saying that around 12 p.m., Detective Noon gave the order. No, I was immediately taken to jail. No due process. I was deprived of due process. And he got a warrant without any probable cause. Here's the report. Their own report. The veterinarian where the dog is taken is not reporting the incident. Yet he called back and he solicited a crime, which is also a crime, Teddy. Okay, here's Beth Cummings' initial report. She said there were lots of cats. There's one cat. Stupid cow. She said there were 30 birds. Actually, there were 128, but they're so healthy and well integrated in my garden. Multiple dogs. I had 2 dogs. Big freaking deal. She knew me for 20 years, and she was calling from Phoenix. And they took hearsay as evidence. Here's the vet's report. It says a maggot. It was one larva found in the bleeding mess of my dog Hank. He was literally at the vet. Here's the vet's report. And they're saying he had valley fever? It's impossible. They were in your custody for like a half an hour. He said he had cancer. No, he didn't. I had a cancer test done on a previous vet. It was benign. It was all it needed, that larva taken out. Okay, and here's Beth Cummings, somebody I'd known for 20 years, lying to the police, which is a crime, bitch. ARS 132907.01. Getting me swatted. And also, you're responsible. You and your stupid niece are responsible for animal cruelty. About 200 animals. It's all on your conscience. One larva. And then the police defamed me. Here's my poor baby, Hanky. Better times. See, I'm the only one on his microchip, but the vet didn't contact me, that's also breaking the law. Okay? 20 years she known me. Hi there, I'm Trista for Congress, September 15. You can write me in, Tucson. And I'm also running for Sheriff 2028. And I'm also your interim president right now. And I'm also running for president, independent, mind you, 2028. That is if we have elections. And also House Speaker. Ha ha ha. That's right, it's a twofer. You get a congresswoman and a comedian and an artist, actually, and an artist. Ha ha. At the same time, when you write me in, September 15th, Tucson, tag all your friends below. You might know me for my 432 hertz healing frequency music that is heavily censored and banned on TikTok and all across social media. So you should repost when you hear it so others can hear it and share and appreciate it. Or maybe you know me from the sheriff, whistleblower, and Congress candidate who is suing Pima County $200 million for the unnecessary and cruel raid and seizure of my service chickens, my therapy flock, as well as my I Am Samanis award-winning, prize-winning I Am Samanis. They're $5,000 a chicken. They're the most expensive breed of chicken in the world. All stolen from me by Pima Animal Cruelty Center. All I did was take my service dog in training, Hanky, to the vet. Or actually I arranged for what I thought was a friend of 20 years to bring him to the vet, and she put him down without my consent and then accused me and got me swatted, and all my animals, my poor babies, were cruelly seized. And Pima Animal Cruelty Center and the sheriffs framed me for animal cruelty. They said there was little to no food. Ridiculous. And Clarissa from PAC said they were approximately all emaciated. Do they look emaciated? Hell no. They got 3 square meals and snacks in between meals. I was their waitress. 24/7 devoted care. In the last part 1, I read several letters of support. Said I gave superb care, 24/7 care. I rarely left the property, just taking care of my animals until the Gestapo came. It was just like The Sound of Music when the Nazis come and all the dancing and music stops. There's my service dog. It's a crime to interfere with a service dog. Send monica.dangler@pima.gov an email saying, Monica, it's a crime to interfere with a service dog. ADA protected. Americans with disabilities. If you have a disability or a service dog, you've got to help me speak up so we can protect other people with service dogs from having their beloved companion seized cruelly and unnecessarily, like what happened to me. Anyway, I was on the vet's report. There was one maggot taken from his wounds, my Hanky's wounds, and here's the previous vets, and police and PAC defamed me to the media. They said that it was full of maggots. He was full of maggots and he had multiple infections. No, he didn't. He didn't even have a fever. He was so healthy. He was in a cone. And that shows just a million reasons. They were willfully blind. Here's the first vet's report that I had a cancer test taken. It was benign. And this is in Spanish. I got a translation, layman's terms. And the thing is that Inez didn't take out the maggot. It was a misdiagnosed bot fly, apparently, according to all my research. And biopsy of Hank's dermal mass, and these bitches who got me swatted said that his intestines were hanging out. No, it was a dermal mass. And I thought that this vet, Inez, had removed it, but she didn't. She left behind the larva, so it came back. And that's what we were dealing with. And, the cone wasn't working because the larva had to be taken out. And Inez, the first vet, didn't do it. Here's a bogus search warrant that Teddy Noon badge number 7977, rubber stamped by Judge Howard Feld, who has previous ethical complaints against him. Actually, he reported. He invited somebody who had gotten a DUI to sit on his lap. And this is the dude who rubber stamped this bogus search warrant without valid probable cause, which is a constitutional violation. You're not supposed to be able to get a search warrant without valid probable cause. And he was doing it on hearsay. Beth Cummings was calling from Phoenix. She called like a half dozen times. Each one of those should be a count of false reporting, ARS 132907.01. And they said that there was a pig on the property. No, there wasn't. They said all kinds of stuff, that there were renters. I didn't have renters. Said that the pallets were surrounded. All kinds of errors of fact, it's called. And he didn't seal it. He didn't. You can't even tell, like, who is that? You know, it's supposed to be clear. You're supposed to, you know, there's a certain way, and you know, and all these errors of fact, and the fact that there's no valid probable cause, and there's no evidence of a crime being committed. Here's my, I have a podcast, Politics AF. It's got over 1/3 downloads, and my audio podcast of being falsely arrested, and at 8:37 a.m. on August 30, 2023, and they silently surrounded me. They put me in cuffs. They shoved me in a patrol car backwards by Edgar Alexander Nosek, badge number 7917. We'll see him because he's the mental health coordinator dude in internal affairs. And when I reported them for excessive force, then they retaliated and tried to put me away in a psychiatric ward. Title 36 is called. Anyway, so here is Clarissa from PAC lying in her report, which is a crime bitch, ARS 132907.01, around 12 p.m. Detective Noon gave the order to, and by the way, it's Noon and Clarissa who signed off on this bogus report, that we were taken to jail at around noon after an inspection and walkthrough. No, we were taken to jail immediately. This is a Desert Storm veteran, witnesses, and therefore unimpeachable, impeccable, reasonable investigator on the scene who took a video, and this is a still from the video. This is a GPS. There's there's a color version of this, but they are shoving me into the patrol car, 8:37, first thing, even before they inspected the property. If they were so concerned about my animals' welfare, they would have inspected the property, but no, they wanted to disappear me. They surrounded me silently. I thought they were going to kill me. In fact, if I didn't have a witness, I'm sure they would have disappeared me. Here's the cocksucker, Ted Noon. This is on my property, private property. So, and he is turning off or maybe on his body camera, which you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to have it on all the time when you're on, when you are part of an investigation. I demanded that they record everything, and they did not. They turned off and on. There was only about an hour of footage from him when he was on my property, private property, for 12 hours. And there's absolutely no footage of him or any of the other PAC officers. There's up to 60 people on my property. More evidence of excessive force. Here's a Desert Storm veteran who has criminal investigation background himself. Saying that we were arrested without due process, guilty till proven innocent, Fourth Amendment violations. So I've been trying to get this case dismissed with prejudice because they lied, they falsified in the reports, and I caught them under oath on the and there were also false reports from Beth Cummings and Zoe Skinner and they still need to be held. Follow for part 3.
And then just the flag, who's coming up after that is Lori Moore, Robert Royce, and you're unmuted. Loninson. So, on to the phone is Kristen DeGenova on the line.
Hi, board. I'm a Pima County resident and declared sheriff and justice of the peace candidate, and I will address the Pima County Board of Supervisors at every meeting until my ADA protected medical alert service dog, Dr. Baker, and prize-winning flock are returned. I cite agency records proving the dog and animals in excellent health and alleged violations of Arizona law, the ADA, animal cruelty statutes, and constitutional protections stemming from a 60-officer raid on my property in August 2023. I'm also calling for the removal of agency heads involved, an emergency shutdown of Pima County Jail due to excessive deaths, and immediate civilians' rights oversight, and provide ready-made proclamations for the board and the Tucson City Council to vote on. I've also, I'm inviting national civil rights and animal welfare organizations to monitor this case. And in fact, I have created these ready-made resolutions, and I would ask that my supervisor, Andres Cano, please get back to me about the board voting on this resolution of the Pima County Board calling for the immediate removal of agency heads involved in the unlawful seizure of an ADA protected service animal in Pima residents' flock. Whereas a coordinated multi-agency raid resulted in the unlawful seizure of my service alert dog and prize-winning flock without probable cause, having been verifiably neglected 2 weeks in police and pet custody to fabricate evidence and further falsifying the reports. And whereas agency records and photographs confirm the animals were in excellent health, and whereas such conduct violates Arizona law, federal ADA protections, and basic standards of animal welfare, and whereas public trust has been irreparably damaged by malicious prosecution by the Attorney's Office and gang stalking behavior by PAC and PCSD by these authorities, including kidnapping, defamation, evidence tampering, involuntary commitment without cause, and other egregious misconduct that is shocking to the conscience of the community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the board calls for immediate removal of the heads of the 3 agencies involved in said operation, pending independent investigation, and be it further resolved that the board formally demands the immediate return of the unlawfully seized service animal and entire flock, along with minimum $200,000 in reparations. And be it further resolved that all related records be preserved and released for public and judicial review. Also, I have a resolution for the shutdown and replacement of Pima County Jail. And I also have a resolution for, I volunteer to be your interim sheriff, interim DA, and interim head of PAC until we can restore sanity to these agencies in our county. And so, resolution declaring Pima County Jail a public health and human rights emergency. Whereas Pima County Jail is...
Your time is muted.
Happy anniversary, baby. Got you on my. Happy anniversary, baby. Got you on my mind. Hanky, did you hear about the Queen? She's dead. Oh, this is all you care about. Check this out, Hank and Rexy are cuddling. How cute is that, man? Buddies.
Is about to explode. You're about to watch something pop up in flames, and you will definitely have front row seat to it. Matter of fact, you might be sitting down watching your popcorn because some of these people wanted to gossip about you, basically laugh at your expense. These people definitely had something to play in terms of like your mental health. Maybe they wanted to bring you down in some sort of way, and what's going to happen is you're going to be isolated from them. With the Hermit, you're going to be going within, soul searching. Your ancestral line is very strong, and they definitely heavily protect you. So what this is saying is that you're going to be in a position where you're watching something basically internally implode, and multiple people are going to be involved. With the Emperor, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Knight of Cups, there could be 3 to 4 people that were either laughing at your expense, trying to conspire against you, wanted to do something behind the scenes because they felt like there was going to be no repercussions. Well, they were definitely wrong. With legal proceedings, they're going to be judged heavily. It seems like your energy brings judgment to people, whether they know it or not, especially the ones that feel like they're untouchable, especially people that like to click up against you, or people that just get along with each other simply because they do not like you. You're going to be moving to a calmer place. Some of you are being abruptly moved out of an environment, or just moved away from something because, yeah, they're going to be feeling the heat from the universe. Matter of fact, they should have left you alone. As a high priestess or the high priest, you carry a lot of energy and force, and you're definitely not the type of person that should be messed with, especially not when you're putting in hard work and dedication. Some of you, this is it at work, getting tag teamed at work. People like just conspiring against you, wanting to give you a hard time. You're over here literally minding your own business, not even bothering anyone, staying in your lane. Meanwhile, people want to insert themselves in your life, insert themselves through chaos, through drama, through turmoil. Some of these people just, they can sense the power from within that you have, and they want to just basically seem important, or they want to undermine you. And what they don't know is that the Grim is coming straight for them. Like, they literally, by messing with you, they literally summon something. That's what I'm saying. You come from an ancestral line that is very deep. Some of you have paternal figures that do not play about you. They're very ruthless in terms of people having malice or just malicious intent towards you. There's a cost for that. There's always a cost for that. So with death, something in their life is changing abruptly. And when I say abruptly, I mean like within hours or overnight. If they were hee-hee-ha-haing at your expense, yeah, there's definitely going to be nothing to laugh about now, because what they're going to trigger is depression in their own lives. They're definitely going to be in their feelings, and either you announced something, you revealed something, you put in work into basically yourself, and inadvertently it ended up exposing other people, and now they're going to be locked up. Maybe not literally, but figuratively. Figuratively, they put themselves in an imprisonment situation, so now they're going to have limitations. If this is at work, getting demoted, getting projects removed from them. If this is just in general, they're going to be in spiritual jail, which means all their blessings are going to be halted. Their ancestors might abandon them temporarily, depending on the severity of what was done to you. Yeah, there's definitely going to be a price to pay. And with the devil being here, they're also inviting the devil in their life. This is you, strong, being held by the universe, your ancestors and guides. Some of you don't have much support except self. And even with that, it may seem like you're vulnerable or that you're an easy target, but that couldn't be further from the truth, because the things that protect you are from far beyond this world. And people are starting to realize that because they're starting to see the cause and effect between when they started messing with you and now everything's going downhill. Now they're being exposed publicly. Now if they have some sort of reputation, that reputation is now being tarnished. Why are you messing with the viewer? If the viewer is over here staying in their own lane, why are you conspiring against them? So yeah, people are being looked at differently because of you. And they're kind of being seen as trash. It's almost like the trash is being taken out or the trash is taking itself out. And unfortunately, you had to be placed in a predicament that was toxic to you temporarily. And yes, it is very painful. Sometimes when you go through these things and you don't have support and you don't have anyone to confide in besides, I guess, your guides or maybe one or two people close to you, it is still very painful. Because the type of judgment that you went through, it was definitely uncalled for. They did not need to treat you like that at all, especially because of the fact that you were just minding your own business. So now there's a price to pay. You shouldn't have been messing with the viewer like that. Now you're going to have to deal with your blessings being blocked, revoked.